Hi, welcome to my psychic tarot reading on Susan Wojcicki. Thank you for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, comment, and share. And if you would like a personal psychic tarot reading from me or an astrology birth chart reading from me, I am an astrologer as well as a psychic tarot reader. Check out my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com. Purchase your reading, and within 24 hours, I'll send you an email confirmation letting you know I received your payment. And then within 1 to 3 days or sooner, typically it's sooner than 3 days, we will get your reading done as soon as possible. Also, I do have a subscription service on my website where you can pay a monthly fee and get a free reading each month. You can either get a free psychic tarot reading, which there's 3 options for that currently. At the time of the making of this video, I'm planning to add more possibly. And there's also one subscription service for a free monthly astrology birth chart, natal chart transit reading. So check that out on my website. Let's get right into it to see what's going on with Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, and who has also been the CEO of YouTube since 2014. Let's see what's going on. YouTube has gone through many changes throughout the years. I have been, you know, on YouTube since I was in high school. My first YouTube channel was a Sims channel, making Sims videos. The first video that actually started to become viral was an Aaliyah Sims video I made for, I think, Loose Rap on her Red album. And I couldn't monetize it because that's when the YouTube program first rolled out, because there was Aaliyah's music in it. So obviously, that wouldn't work. But yeah, it's interesting how far YouTube's come. So I want to know what are Susan Wojcicki's plans for the future of YouTube? What is Susan Wojcicki trying to turn YouTube into? What are Susan Wojcicki's plans for the future of YouTube? Help us understand this algorithm. You can ask another question we can ask. Help us understand this algorithm. What is the code to the algorithm? Alright. What's Susan Wojcicki trying YouTube into? Well, she's definitely fighting behind the scenes she's fighting with people behind the scenes. I don't think Susan, is met with kindness in totality behind the scenes with certain decisions she's made, leading up to now when it comes to YouTube. I feel like she's actually pissed a few people off. So I wouldn't be surprised if Miss Susan has a few enemies. The Five of Coins in the future could mean a few things. I feel like right now she could be trying to save YouTube, Google. I don't know if it's necessarily from debt, but some sort of money issues, some sort of equilibrium. It's like almost like we have to make profit too. We have bills, we have families to feed as well. So it's almost like the shift of income, the income. How do I say this? The flow of income has been shifted where I feel like the flow of income is now under this, era of Susan Wojcicki. It's shifted to not the creators, but to the people in power, I feel. I almost feel like Susan's trying to please people behind the scenes when it comes to YouTube and not the actual creators who make up YouTube, interestingly enough. So I do feel like she has issues with trying to please people. I feel like with the direction she's taking YouTube into currently, I feel like it's not necessarily putting the creators at the forefront as much as it may seem like it on the outside, with marketing and, wording. I feel like, the structure of just the future of YouTube under the era of Susan Wojcicki is not putting the creators at the forefront. It is putting, I feel like, advertisers possibly, and people behind the scenes, stockholders, people like that in control. So it's almost like YouTube is becoming like a corporation. YouTube is becoming almost like a Warner Brother, Fox in its own type of way. At least that's where Susan wants to take it. That's how Susan sees it. I wouldn't be surprised if we could look at um, the ratio of content, different types of content that's been uploaded to YouTube over the years. I wouldn't be surprised if, under the era of Susan Wojcicki, there was an increase in uploads of political content or, contents that I feel like specifically go align with Susan Wojcicki's values. Like, that's the type of person Susan is. But I'm gonna stick with, Susan's current model of running YouTube does not put creators at the forefront, unfortunately. It puts the people behind the scenes, the people in power at the forefront. And YouTube has become a haven for big name studios and corporations to come in and really take reign and take control, I feel. I think that's where most of the money is going. Behind the scenes, it's not going to the creators who are, isn't this always the case? The stars are always the one getting underpaid. It's like, the stars are always the one, the talent is always the one that gets shafted in the end. But that's kind of what I feel is going on here, to be honest with you. And I feel like there may be an uprising soon, most likely, with creators to this YouTube model. And the way YouTube is currently being run and how it is treating its creators. Almost seems like Susan gives off the energy that you should be grateful to get any type of money from, this platform, that, other businesses use to, as e-commerce. It's like, it's bigger to her than a creator, who works at home, wakes up, doesn't have to go to, a 9 to 5 job, somehow found their niche and, has been living off of YouTube for maybe a few years or a few months, and now is suffering under this reign of, advertiser friendly to the front, everything else to the back, It's almost like, how back in the day when there were like blockbusters and things like that, at least that's what they had when I lived here, when I was growing up, when I lived where I lived, which was in Virginia, and how they would have like, new releases, come out and, all the new releases would be at the front, but then if you looked at the back of some of the few releases, they were like old, movies or, other movies behind. And it's like you would sometimes find a few gems, behind, those new releases. That's kind of what I feel like here. It's like certain people, certain situations, certain industries, certain content is being pushed to the front of YouTube, and other content is suffering behind the scenes, behind, what's being pushed to the front. And I don't think Susan is, trying to please the creators. I think she's trying to please. You know what she's really trying to please? She's trying to please a supply and demand industry. She's trying she's trying to appease an industry. That's what she's trying to do. It's supply and demand to her. It's all business. It's not fun. It's not creativity, uniqueness, you know. It's very much corporation, I feel like. It's like a corporation. She runs it like a corporation, y'all. So what is it with the algorithm? And I have one last question. What is going on with the algorithm of YouTube? What's the secret behind the algorithm? What can the angels, the spirit guides tell us about the secret behind the algorithm? I hear consistency. The consistency is definitely one thing. It's definitely in this day and age under the Susan Wojcicki era, having advertiser-friendly content. I feel like if you have strikes on your channel's somehow affected when it comes to the algorithm. I'm gonna stick to that. I don't know if YouTube has explicitly stated that before, but I feel like if your channel has strikes on it, your algorithmic the algorithmic makeup of your channel is affected when it comes to the overall algorithm of YouTube. But I do feel like there are channels who have strikes that YouTube actively pushes out as well. So that's interesting. And if someone could verify this information, that would be great. The algorithm actually is quite intuitive. I get the High Priestess card. The algorithm is very, very intuitive, so it kind of knows intuitively what mass amount of people are going to be drawn to based off of the topic, the content, the keywords of the channel, you know, the types of people even who watch your content, you know, and, you know, based off of other things that they watch, other people that they watch. So I feel like it's actually quite intuitive. Interesting. And I feel like that's the part that messes people up the most. But people that can figure it out, you know, it's like they kind of run with it. They figure out, oh, it's actually just intuitive. It kind of just knows what people want, you know. That's why when you look at your home feed, you know, or your subscription feed, it kind of like, it puts up to the front what it knows you're most going to watch, what's in most demand in terms of you and your watching habits. Intuition. Alright. But then people who don't get it really, really struggle with this part of the YouTube algorithm. I definitely feel like they're making it harder to become successful on YouTube. I feel like it's beneficial to look at keywords and marketing keywords and things like that. Doing research on keywords and trigger words for engagement and traffic, not just on YouTube, but on other platforms as well. Mm, I'm not there yet, quite to that level of YouTube. I feel like there's levels to YouTube, but I feel like there's a level in YouTube where I don't know if you have someone that works for you or someone that you can call for support. But I feel like there's something like that goes on. But it also ties in with pushing certain channels to the forefront as well. So I wonder if there's a certain level where you get to YouTube where someone in YouTube helps you get sponsors even or something like that. Or, I don't know, it's interesting. I feel like the algorithm isn't as hard as it seems. I feel like really the issue is it's just that so much content is uploaded to YouTube on a daily basis that it's hard for things to get discovered. Or it's harder for things to get discovered, or it takes longer for things to get discovered. Last question is, will Susan Wojcicki be the CEO of YouTube forever? It's possible, alright. Will Susan Wojcicki be the CEO of YouTube forever? How long will Susan Wojcicki reign as the CEO of YouTube? The true queen of YouTube. I feel like she's gonna have a pretty long run. She's been, in YouTube office since 2014, but I feel like there may be someone who actually wants Susan off. I feel like there's maybe someone on the board, the committee, something like that wants Susan out. So, I get the tower, Susan. Will you be in YouTube office forever? I'm gonna have to say no. Alright? Thing is, you may be forced to step down, you may be forced to resign, or you will resign to avoid embarrassment of maybe being forced out in some way. Alright. You may be just a bit too bullheadish in business, wanting your way, wanting your agenda. But I think it's maybe, I don't know if you're inflexible sometimes, but it's something like that where you're just you may just become a bit too much. You may be just doing a bit too much and actually be causing controversy as time goes on in some way, shape, or form. Like you may become problematic. And certain people in the committee, the board, are like, okay, like, you gotta do something about this. YouTube is at stake, alright? So, alright, Susan, let's pull a last card for you from my homemade deck just to see. And remember, you can purchase a reading from my website, LamarrTownsendTarot.com, whether you're Susan or not, alright? Tension is high. I don't think that's an easy job for Susan. I think it's a stressful job, not being like the president necessarily, but it is like there's a lot of demand. There's a lot of stress. Like she's stressed a lot. Alright. Susan. Alright, wish you the best, Susan. Thank you for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel, like this video, comment, and share. Make sure you also check out the rest of my videos on my YouTube channel. Also, check out my social media pages. My Instagram is at Lamarr Townsend Tarot. My Facebook is at Lamarr Townsend Tarot. The links to those are in the description box below. Make sure you subscribe, like this video, comment, share. Check out my ebook on Amazon, Zodiac Signs and Sex Language, available now on Amazon for download. My singles on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Music, as well as Tidal and other streaming services. Those songs are called Unblock Me and Forbidden Fruit. Also, remember, I have a subscription service on my website where you can pay a monthly fee and get a free reading each month. Okay, check that out on my website, LamarrTownsendTarot.com. Love and light, and I'll catch you guys later.